Hello there, wrestling fans, and welcome to episode 122. 122. Was I wrong? Of the internationally known Dudes That Ringside podcast. I am your host, Joe the Panther, the Bird. And now introducing from the top of Metal Mountain, it's that happy heel himself, the Metal Geek.
What's going on, Ringside Crew? What's going on, internationally known? What's going on, everybody? What's going on, Joe? What's going on, bud?
Not too much, Gigi. This is the start of the awesome second round of the OVW wrestlers of in Dudes at Ringside. So you want me to introduce our guest, Geek, or you want me to introduce her? I guess you want me to introduce her. All right. Let's give a war.
Yeah.
Dude,
go ahead, introduce her.
What? All right, no problem. Let's give a war. Dudes at Ringside, welcome to Killjoykobe. Geek, introduce the guest. Bring her in. I introduced her already. Geek. Oh no, come on, dude. That's not funny.
There you are.
Here we go.
What's up?
He's on a little delay today.
I felt that. It's just been one of those days, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think all around. My store's changing the aisles and key food. It's just like everything's changing. No, the season's changing. No more summer fun. And now no more Halloween things. Now I'm bringing out Santas.
Never mind, Thanksgiving is still a thing.
Yeah, we still eat turkey and we still fall asleep in November. Like the end of November. What's going on with that? So if our fans aren't familiar with you, introduce yourself.
Well, I am your Queen Killjoy Colby Max. I am from South Charleston, West Virginia. That is where I still currently reside. I have wrestled throughout West Virginia. I will be wrestling for the first time in Ohio this Saturday. I have wrestled in Tennessee. And I've also wrestled for Ohio Valley Wrestling.
Awesome. That's why I said it's the start of the second OVW wrestler, because as I said before we went live, man. Ohio Valley Wrestling, it may not be connected with WWE anymore, but it's still white hot. It has so much talent that come out of there, and they're there. It's just like, I was looking at your roster, I'm like, hey, you have a lot of people that can get picked up really fast, like that. They're swiped up by an AEW or a WWE. Like,
I mean, like you have Danny Moe, Gustavo, a few others.
Yeah. Tell Danny Moe we say hi, by the way. We've been.
Oh, she's awesome.
She's the Neon Nightmare, That's what they call her in the industry. Yeah. So, by the way, who trained you?
I was trained by Rocky Rage and multiple others, but he was like the oh my gosh, it has been a long day. I'm sorry. Okay. I was trained at House of Rage Wrestling School, started by him. I've also been trained by Jack Graham Lethal, Huff Manley, and Shane Storm and Dante Williams.
Geek. You next.
What's your first match like in front of a crowd?
Well, actually, my first match in front of a crowd was my second match, which was a battle royal. It was like the first show back, because I debuted in 2020, which was when COVID was still really bad. But my first show was actually a battle royal in front of a crowd, and I was the only girl in it. And I remember looking back at the video and cringing, because at the very beginning, everybody's just going at it with each other, and I'm there like,
what do I do?
It's like, no, you could have just gone and formed somebody.
Yeah. So what would you legitimately say that would be like your wrestling style?
I would consider myself lucha hybrid because I kind of have a mix of I can do a little bit of everything, but I do a lot of high flying, a lot of head scissors and ranas, a lot of stuff that you consider lucha.
Cool. Eek, you next. Oh, Geek's mic's acting funny today. Wi-Fi issues. I guess Geek can't talk. Is he?
Like,
Who'd you say your favorite opponent to work with
oh, there is a lot. My screen just okay. There, sorry. Jesse Bell
Who'd you
Smothers
say
is
your
definitely up there.
She heard you, Geek.
Jesse Bell Smothers, Amazing Maria, and Hollywood Haley J. Of course, I would always loved wrestling against my now tagged partner, Judy Hendricks. And there's just countless others, honestly. But female competitor wise, they stand out along with Danny Moe and Kenzie James. And then probably male wise, Ron Mathis, Bruce Gray, Jack Ram Lethal, Dustin Alexander, and Nicolia. That's the two people I actually had in my first match that wasn't Battle Royal, and I'm forever grateful for them with that. And my first singles match was against Yellow Man, who I will forever be grateful for that match as well. And it's just, the list just goes on and on.
The other person that you said is on our dream list, Hollywood. Oh my
God. She's cool.
Yeah, I watched a lot of her stuff on her Instagram page, and it's funny, like, I guess Hollywood got arrested. She's wearing a jumpsuit. I was like, what with the jumpsuit? Yeah. She got arrested? Her character got arrested. I was like, you get Hollywood gets arrested.
That's not my business. But she's out thankfully now, and she's wrestling again.
That'll be funny. Like, you're backstage as they're wrestling her, and you're like, that's none of my business. And then you just take a sip of your drink. And I don't know you.
No, she's absolutely beautiful, and she's so talented.
And I was watching something. I forgot who the character was she was dealing with backstage, and the girl took something out of the other girl's head, and she had the belt on her shoulder, and the girl's like, look, like the look she gave the girl gave her look, she reacted to immediately. Like, perfect mic.
I'm trying to think what you're talking about.
Did you see that video? If I find it again, I'll send it to you tonight.
Please do, because I'm pretty sure I know what you're talking about, but I can't put names to it.
Oh, you want to do this? You want to do this? You want to do this? And the girl's just like, oh. And she's like, I don't got time for this. I gotta go. And she like walked off. Like, I was like, oh, she got her. She called her. She hit her with the cold shoulder. I was like, oh my God. It was like perfect. Like the face expression that she gave her, she was like, oh, you wanna go? Like total Hollywood. You wanna go? You wanna go? Yeah. All right. More questions, Giku. If you don't have a delay. All right. So
who would you say your toughest opponent was that you ever had to face in the ring?
Chelsea Green's up there, of course. I thankfully got to share the ring with her. Jessie Bell, of course. Jack Ram Lethal. And gosh, I don't know. I mean, like I say, there's countless names, but those are the ones that stick out. Oh, and Danny Moe. I've gotten to share the ring with Danny Moe.
That's cool. That's cool. You get a chance to wrestle against people like Danny Moe and OVW. Yeah. Like, is it like for something like that? I know you have a big smile every time you see Danny Moe's name.
Yeah.
Is it good to be put in like that kind of like spotlight with a wrestler that's already been in OVW for a while? Like in their case, do you like to work with train with them so you get little like tips from them and stuff like that?
Yeah, definitely. I can't think of anybody that I haven't learned something from. So, and especially getting to wrestle Freya the Slayer and Miranda Gordy on my past two appearances. Well, my first two appearances on OVW. Those were two tough opponents, but I also learned a lot, and I'm grateful for that. And I've learned a lot from Amazing Maria and
That's
Jessie
another
Bell.
one that's on our dream list. Gordy.
She's awesome.
And like, because Monday we're having the daughter of Rowdy Piper on the podcast.
Really?
Yes, she's coming out and doing it at ringside. She's in it. Actually, this ties into my question. What? Oh, you guys.
And
What? And her fiance.
Sorry, I had to sneeze.
Come on,
but
Joe. You
it
do
was
this
fine.
all the time.
You didn't sneeze. No, I messed it up. I was like, bless you. No, you didn't sneeze.
No, it's okay. But anyways, you were saying, sorry.
And her fiance. So she's that's what was going to tie in my question, Geek, but you always ask it. So what is your opinions on intergender wrestling?
I'm all for it. I mean, because I've had a lot of intergender matches, and I personally don't see a man versus woman. I see it wrestler versus wrestler.
Good answer. I like that. I like that answer.
That's because I train with mostly guys at the start of my career because in West Virginia, and I mean, it's still, there's very few. A lot of the times it was against men, and I was in multi-person matches, and with all men, and especially I made history with becoming the first woman to challenge for the ASW heavyweight title that way. So, I mean, there's no such thing as, in my opinion, man versus woman. It's just wrestler versus wrestler, and I think it needs to be looked at that way instead of having the label as, oh, he can't beat her up, like da 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 da. Like, that's just my opinion.
Yeah, that's totally true. Like with intergender wrestling these days, I said to my friend, when my friend was driving me home from work today, I was like, that's a big thing we talk about and do. It's a ringside, the intergender thing, because back in the 90s, in like the early 80s, intergender wrestling wasn't a thing, and it was kind of a joke. They would have like, oh, you'll have Sensational Sherry versus a man, and it was almost a joke. Oh, she's so fancy smancy, she'll never be able to hit a man, face a man. And 9/10 women, kind of like, what's her name? That bandaged Bam Bam. What's her face with the lightning bolts on her face? What's her name?
Bonacano?
I can't remember her name. She had like the mohawk, the blonde mohawk.
Yeah, Bonacano.
Is that her name? Okay, yeah.
I'm pretty sure she wore the golden and blue.
What was it, Geek? Oh god, I can't think of her name, but it's Geek goes on a delay, and then it makes me sound silly. Yeah, so like, yeah, I'm glad we've had a lot of wrestlers all before intergender wrestling, so it's like not only you. So yeah, so have you ever thought of traveling out of the country, or like
definitely
like out of the country, or like in like around the country? You know what I mean?
I definitely want to wrestle in Ireland and the UK.
Wait.
That's definitely a goal that I have, because I've seen videos of indie shows and honestly, just whenever like WWE was in Ireland or the UK somewhere, the crowds were so awesome. And I think a big part of a show is, of course, the crowd. And it's so important. I think the crowd is probably one of the most important of the show, and they are just electric.
You're on a weird delay. That's why you're not able to talk. You freeze.
I know, Joe. You know.
I'm trying to let you talk, but you're on a weird
right?
delay. How am I supposed to let you talk if you're on a weird
Mom
delay?
and Dad are fighting again.
No, I'm just trying to get him to talk, but then he goes to talk, and it's like, I'm like, do I take over? like, I don't want to mess up, put too much dead air on the podcast. We were taught by a person when we did radio, never let dead air. And I have panic attacks listening to radio when I hear dead air, and I'm like, there goes a fan out the window. Like, that's all I could think. So, Geek, ask your questions, bro.
All right. So I was gonna ask, what's your dream match? Your ultimate dream match? Anybody you could face?
You know what? Because, well, I have two. One is against Finn Balor all the way, but I think the number one is main eventing WrestleMania with Bayley.
That's
or
a good
Zelina
main
Vega.
event.
But mainly Bailey and Finn, because they're the two reasons why I became a wrestler in the first place. Because I grew up watching, but whenever I met both them two, that was kind of it. Like that was like, okay, they gave me the best day of my life, so I want to give somebody the best day of their life, like they did to me.
That's awesome.
Definitely. Joe.
Okay. If a little boy or a little girl ever came up to you and told you, I want to become a professional wrestler, what would you tell them?
I said the same thing and I did it. Everybody, but that being said, everybody wants to be a wrestler until it's time to do wrestler stuff. So you have to really want this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's an investment. It's a lot of time. It's a lot of gas money. You got to get your own t-shirts. You got to have the patience to get to places. It's not easy. You kind of have to put the time in. You're going to have to go to the gym. You're going to have the right diet. As cliche as it sounds, this is a sport, and you would want to train for it just like you would for football, soccer, baseball, basketball.
Is there any, like, I don't know if you do any hardcore matches, but was there any hardcore? No, I was going to ask if there's any.
Nah, but I actually am in a casket match at the end of the month.
That's awesome.
On OVW or
no, in a battleground wrestling.
Okay, I was like, wow.
Nah, it's just
a little bit late.
No spoilers. No spoilers. No spoilers, please. Right?
Nah, I respect people who do them, but because that takes a lot of guts. But it's just not my thing. I'll do no DQ matches. I'm doing a casket match and other special matches, but death matches is my one thing. And my one thing I will never do is thumbtacks. Not because it's thumbtacks, but because of tetanus. And because it's indie wrestling, I don't know where those thumbtacks have been and who they've been in.
That is smart thinking right there.
Yeah. It could have been in a shelf or in a drawer for like 100 years, and they decided we need thumbtacks.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Thumbtacks, and they find the thumbtacks in the drawer of like some office.
And I'm a little skeptical that fans bring the weapons match because I don't know where those things have been.
That's why I never
made a joke with my mom because we were going to an indie show with Geek, and I said, maybe they may be a hardcore match. I could bring these Legos. My mom's like, you're not bringing those. You're bringing Legos to an indie show?
I do Legos over thumbtacks, so I will admit.
Like, and I said, oh, Mom, they do that in the indies. She's like, that better not be the indies you guys talk about. That sounds horrible. I was like, there is indies that do that. Like,
ever since Candice LeRae brought the Legos into the indies, it's all Legos now. Legos is the new thing. And apparently, what was the other thing, Joe? A wooden school bus was another one.
Yeah, they wouldn't. Oh God, yeah, there was a wooden school bus. This girl from Boston, what was her name? She always came on a podcast a while ago.
No, shit. I know what you're talking about, but she had a wooden school bus. She rolled it right into the guys.
Ding dong. Oh, you can curse here, by the way, but
yeah.
Oh yeah, it's fine.
But, yeah, like.
Well, in that case, I can share this. I'm known as Dick Kick Colby at our wrestling school.
And there was another spot in that match, Joe, that she suplexed the guy, and this was kind of like a box, but this wasn't any ordinary box. This box had like wooden spikes on the back of it.
No.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, it was like I think it was called like a wooden match or something. You could only use wood. So people think, okay, kendo sticks. What else they were using? Tables. But then they brought out this box with wooden spikes on it, and she just suplexed him right on the box.
No. It's like I was actually the first indie show I ever went to was a no DQ match. And I'm pretty sure it was to Drex Dyer. Somebody like put these like skewers in his head and put it and it stuck, and I was like, no.
Yeah, Kenny Copeland does that.
Who?
Kenny Copeland?
Where have I heard that name?
You heard Joe. You know Kenny Copeland, right?
Yeah.
She has the skewers. She uses the skewers for her matches.
I said that I was about to say that the skewers. Is that a new thing in the hardcore indie scene that they use skewers into like in the foreheads? Because me and Geek are old school wrestling fans. Like I guess old school ECW, old school.
I
Like
guess so.
I don't ever remember ECW using skewers as a weapon.
Nowadays, you can use anything as a weapon. Percy Drews got stapled in a death match, and that freaked me out more than him getting slammed through a TV.
Oh,
Yeah,
did it explode?
those.
No.
Oh, all I can think is boom. Like I would have been
those
like
exploding pool matches from Onita.
Yeah, I just think that's insane. Like I love all wrestling, but indie wrestling kind of scares me sometimes. Certain things
I understand that.
that kind of scares me. I'd support the indies till the last day I'm breathing, and that's how much I love independent wrestling. That's why we do this for you
Cheers
guys
to that.
to get you guys.
You guys are creative.
I got my empty cup.
So
yeah.
Well, I also have my Jimmy Neutron cup that I've had since like 2006.
Yeah.
From last night. So
I should be having my Echo. What's that?
Joe, remember the Firecrackers match?
Oh my god, yeah. Oof.
The sound of that terrifies me.
Yeah. Tell them the story, Joe. Tell them the story.
Oh my gosh. There's a girl named Jamie Lynn. That's a wrestler.
I've heard that name.
She's transgendered.
Mm-hmm.
And she's a hardcore wrestler. And she took on Kennedy Copeland in a match, and Kennedy Copeland put a firecracker in Jamie Lynn's asshole. And in the crowd went absolutely bonkers and started chanting USA. USA.
I mean, what else are you supposed to chant there?
It was just like,
and then she put in her shopping cart, wheeled her off the stage, and pushed her through the table.
Yeah, she put Kennedy in the shopping cart and then pushed it off the stage and made it into a Jackass clip.
I didn't look that up.
Yeah, I don't know if it's on YouTube. Probably is.
I think it's on her Instagram, actually.
Yeah, if you could find it.
I'll look for that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a crazy. You found it?
Oh Lord, I love this business.
Indies.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what other stupid indie, or like not stupid, but just funny indie stories that I have.
That's what we love.
I saw Ricky Morton's ass cheeks.
Oh jeez. Oh jeez.
Yeah, I was in the middle of Gilbert, West Virginia. I turn around and he's like pulling up his pants to kind of make, I guess, like a thong to put it underneath his tights. And I turn around and James Maxson is standing right there and he just starts dying laughing because he knows what I just witnessed. I mean, hey, I got to see a WWE Hall of Famer's butt. Well, 2/3 of it.
You're like, should be like, you should be like, give him tips. You need to put a little suntan lotion on them cheeks, sir.
Well, it was the middle of winter.
Well, look, there's some people that still tan their cheeks to make them look nice because some of their outfits have that like.
Is there something you want to share?
I wouldn't know. This is our weapon. this is our match. Geek and I, as I said, my grandfather was a professional wrestler in the 50s and 60s.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah, he wrestled under Vince McMahon Sr. His name was Jose Quinones, the Panther.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's why I'm the Panther the third, and my dad's the second. But my dad never wrestled, but I became a wrestling fan because of my grandfather. Geek knows, like, if it wasn't for my grandfather, I would never become a wrestling fan. And because if it wasn't for Geek, I would never love the indie scene. He got me in Ring of Honor. And so
Ring of Honor was the first independent shows I've ever been to.
Really?
They got me hooked. Yeah.
Well, what year did you start watching?
Was it 2003? What I mean?
That's the year I was born.
No,
Huh.
wrestling. Are you talking about wrestling, or are you talking about the independents in general?
No, just watching.
Probably 2000. Around
When
2000.
did
What
Ring
about
of Honor start again?
02?
Yeah, I thought so because I knew it was before I was born, but I thought it was like 99 for some reason.
I started with I think I started watching Ring of Honor in, was it 03 or 04? And I was like, wow, these guys are good. And it was CM Punk, Bryan Danielson,
Yeah.
Samoa Joe. You had Nigel McGuinness was such a great,
I'm trying to think who else was there at the time.
Yeah.
No, David Richards wasn't there yet. I'm a David Richards fan.
Davey Richards is great,
We want him to come on the podcast, but I heard he's very hard to get in contact
because
with.
he's very busy. He's very busy.
Well, I asked him for advice because I had an impact evaluation not too long ago, and he didn't respond for like 2 days. So,
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
but yeah, he's all over the place. I respect him for it. He's an
Davey
awesome
was-
worker.
Man's a
Davey's
legend.
awesome.
You're like,
No offense, I liked him better than Eddie. But Eddie and Davey, they just work so well together.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the same when they're singles. I mean, but Eddie and Davey are probably one of my favorite tag teams, though.
My favorite Impact match is probably the match between the Wolves, Hardys, and it's my favorite match. And I can't even remember who the third person was, what the third team was. But it was like a triple threat tag ladder match, so it was epic.
My favorite Wolves match would have to be the Wolves versus Steen and Generico in the ladder match for the tag titles. That was the match. Eddie broke his arm, and he was in the match with a sling on. He had like a sling like this, and he was actually wrestling. He said, "Screw it, I'm wrestling the match."
Go Bob Orton.
Yeah, he's
there you go.
I'm wrestling the match, and he decided he was going to wrestle the match, and I have nothing but respect for him for that.
Yeah, honestly.
I think the microphone caught your neck popping.
Oh yeah, sorry.
I was like, was that her neck? I was like, that's pretty cool. I've
been doing that since I was like 10.
In high school, I used to turn my head sideways and just go. But then my mom's old friend is a chiropractor, and he would get so mad at me, like, Randy, don't do that ever again in front of me. I'm like, why? He's like, you could die. You could do it too far, or you can mess up the thing in your neck.
But yeah, you do it and it's okay.
Yeah, I was like, that meme, the guy that's like, the black guy that's like going like,
yeah.
I'm like, but you could do it for a living, you get paid billions of dollars for it, but I'm just some Joe Schmo that wants to pop my neck that swims for Special Olympics and a high school swimmer. You could pop, I can't pop it because I don't know what I'm doing, but you could do it and for a living. I didn't say that. I just went, okay, sir.
Yeah. Well, my chiropractor's friends with Bon Jovi, so.
Oh, okay. He can do what he wants.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, is there any indie wrestlers that you've been watching on YouTube that you want to try to wrestle or like go to?
Well, definitely a lot of people in OVW I've been wanting to work. There's like a list of people that I've been hoping to work at some point in time. Honestly, I don't know how we would, to be honest, but I would like to tag against. Have you heard of Dark Clouds?
Dark Clouds? No, I've never heard of them.
They're OVW champions right now, tag champions right now.
Mm.
So that would be a really fun and very well learning experience if me and Judy get to ever tag against them. I also want to tag against the Tragedy Boys, Riley Rose and Percy Drews. I got to, before they split, I got to tag with Jason Kincaid against Petty and Pink at my Tennessee debut, and that was amazing. So, but I hope to possibly work with Dylan McQueen again at some point. And I also, this past appearance, I got to work against Dream Girl Ellie and Blanco Loco, which was fantastic.
I heard of Dream Girl Loco. Actually, when you see McQueen again, tell him that he got in touch with our podcast,
Mhm.
and he's like, "I'll do it. Give me a date." And we're like, "Okay, here's a date," and nothing. I was like, "Hey, I could play that game too, sir. I'm the face heel of this podcast."
I'm the
Like,
heel.
he's
You
the heel.
see.
I'm the face. I'm the tweener, like the heel face. No, the face.
Anti-heel.
Yes, I'm a mix. My grandfather was the heel, so I try to like not be the. I'm like the good Shawn Michaels, and then it's like, Marty, don't stand too close to that window. You may fall through. Geek, geek, geek. I swear to geek. I swear to everything is holy. That's gonna happen. When you get me mad, I'm going to your apartment. I'm just gonna throw you through the dudes at ringside window.
Be sure to
It's
get that on
happening.
video when you do.
Oh yes, that's gonna happen. I'm gonna send it right to you. It happened. You like, oh God, no.
Now
I never thought this day would come.
that'll be like the last day of us doing the podcast. All right, and right through the window.
Last
Right there.
episode, just you have to put the glass sound in the background.
And then
So
everybody, all the dudes at ringside fans start crying.
no, the
It's
last
like it.
episode.
Wait, are you guys Cowboy Bebop fans?
I watched that. I watched a few episodes. That was a good show, Cowboy Bebop. Yeah.
Okay, I'm a Cowboy Bebop fan. It's like the ending of Cowboy Bebop. I'm not gonna spoil it for anybody who's watching it, but that's probably the same vibe it'll give when
Oh
that day
jeez.
comes.
There's also another anime. I don't know if you ever heard of Fist of the North Star.
Mm-mm.
Oh my God! If you like bloody gory stuff, Killjoy.
I'm more of a psychological thriller person. Like my favorite movie is Silence of the Lambs.
That is a good movie.
Well,
That is a
both
good
Silence of the Lambs and Call Me by Your Name, which is two very different movies on the spectrum.
I'm more of like a Ghostbusters, goofy, funny, but
Mhm.
then I'm also into like movies like The Crow. I love Night of the Living Dead. I like the Freddy's, the Jasons.
Mhm.
I like to also watch like mysterious. Why is that ghost in this house? Was here before us? Stuff like
Yeah.
psychological stuff.
Have you seen Silence of the Lambs?
The original
Yes.
or the new one?
I haven't seen it in a long time, so don't test me on what I know about it. But I haven't seen it in a long time.
The thing is that I love about films, I love, like last summer, I kind of fell in love with cinema and stuff like that. And I love movies that I can overanalyze, and every time I watch it, I find something new. And in the case of Silence of the Lambs, I've watched it like 4 times, and every time I found something new about it. Or like whenever I was thinking about a certain scene, oh, this symbolizes this, or he's doing this, or she's doing that because da 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 da.
It's not a movie, but one show you would absolutely love is Westworld.
Okay.
It's a recommended show because I don't want to spoil it, but it's a show you really have to watch it at least 3 times and be like, holy crap, I didn't pick that up the last time I watched it. It's one of those shows.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen it, Joe, or no? Westworld?
No. I've heard you talk about it. I heard it's a really good show. I've never checked it out.
I've heard of it, but
Dude,
I've never
it's so
seen
good.
it.
It has Anthony Hopkins in it. It has yeah, Anthony Hopkins. What's her name? Yeah, it's really like Ed Harris is in it. It's a
Well,
really
Anthony Hopkins, and I'm gonna watch it.
So is there anywhere, has a fan ever given you like fan art or like made you a pop of yourself?
Actually, yeah, this one girl, she was about 15. She's about 15 or 16. Allie, I'll give you a shout out because that was an awesome piece of art. She drew like a fan art of me before, and it was so cool.
That's cool.
But other than that, nah.
Alex Pinto likes that show. He says Westworld's a great show, he says.
My favorite pop that I have, my friend got me for my birthday.
Nice.
Always have it prepared. Bloody Carol.
Well, dang it! If I would have known we were pulling them out, I have a Finn Balor one that my best friend gave me, and I also have a Daryl one from when I was like 13.
And it's funny. I don't just think Zack Ryder's the coolest thing on the earth. It's because I met the man before he was big.
I met him this past August.
Oh wow,
I'm
that's
waiting
cool.
I'm waiting for GCW Zack Ryder to come out, Joe.
Oh, I'll buy that one too. I'll put that one right above the original.
You know, he's gonna have glass in his back.
Oh, you need blood
Right?
everywhere. You need blood on the case, probably. Probably gonna put blood all over.
Mm.
I'm
Like,
gonna
oh, here
tell,
we go. Before our
I'm gonna
heads.
tell Zach if I ever see him. I'm like, there should be a GCW version of you as a
So
pop
before
bubble.
our mods head explode, do you have any pets? And we know the answer.
Yes, I do. If you haven't been able to hear him, I have an Australian Shepherd. He's Australian, so I named him Dublin because I'm Irish. But yeah, I do. I would bring him up, but he's downstairs just doing whatever.
Oh, jeez.
That or he's probably barking at the neighbor's dogs outside.
They're talking. You know that. You know they say, "Hey, what are you doing? I'm over here."
Yeah.
There you go. Next question, Geekoos, before I take over again.
Yeah, take over again, Joe.
Have you ever created yourself in a WWE game, or has anybody ever created you?
I have.
Which
I
game?
did back when I was like, I want to say I was like 12 or 13. I wanted the name that I want to go by if I ever get to go to WWE is the name Rebel, because I once said I wanted to be the rebel that started a revolution. So I put the two together. Yeah, and I came out the Finn Balor's entrance music and stuff.
I'm gonna be looking for you right now. I'm gonna see if I could find your character, because I
doubt it, because it was in like 2K14 or 15.
Oh, because I've been playing 19 because I refuse to get 20 because I feel like I'm protesting because all the stuff that went on. Like, am I right, Geek? Did you hear all the bad stuff?
All the glitches and stuff.
Oh yeah,
Definitely, yeah.
And my
And
dad.
it's a shame because the story mode was like really good.
My dad's face was priceless when I told him I didn't want it for Christmas that year. He was like, he was driving the car. I thought he was gonna go off I have like a quarry by my house, Killjoy, and I was like, I don't want the game. And I thought he was gonna keep going straight. I was like, Dad, you have a turn. I know. I'm just shocked you don't want that game. What do you want then? I'm like, MLB The Show. He's like, wow.
I think my boyfriend made, well, because he's a wrestler too, and he made a bunch of our friends in his game. He made Colby Max, Tyler Osborne, him.
You should tell him about us. We definitely
I
will.
will. I'm sure he'd love to be on here. Maybe at some point in time we both can be on here.
Yeah, well, we love couples. As Monday we're having Piper's daughter and her tag team and her fiance. So
yeah, I think where we do get hit with the couples don't last in the business often. I think it is important for people who are couples in the business to kind of like, share their story, because Tyler and Colby are it's not necessarily Tyler and Colby, it's Colleen and Austin.
It's hard because Triple H and China dated, and then they started having problems. If you watch that MTV special they did about them, you probably find it on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And they go on, they talk about how when they dated, when they would travel, they would have trouble always fighting and stuff like that. I don't know if you saw that, Geek. Did you ever see that before? Oh god, his computer's having trouble again. Yeah.
No, I haven't seen it, to be honest. Is it good?
Oh, you never seen that? Oh, go on MTV and look up.
I watched Dark Side of the Ring more. Dark Side
of the Ring is good. I've been meaning to go back and watch more of it.
I honestly can't. I'm trying to watch it, but by me, I don't have any of the new episodes yet. I just have season 1, season 2.
I've been wanting to watch the one about Luna Vachon.
That's who I was talking about before.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Buena Cano.
No, well,
because you talked about the mohawk and the face paint, and I was like,
Luna Vachon was one wrestler as a kid that I'd be petrified to even get near, but I heard she was the sweetest person and the creepiest person at the same time.
Well, because wasn't she schizophrenic?
Yeah.
It's interesting. I really do want to hear that story.
Yeah, she's the sweetest person and the scariest person to have to deal with if something happens. Like, no.
Yeah, the XPW
right.
one's pretty good too.
Is that the one about like deathmatch wrestling?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I started watching that one. I was like, mm-mm.
Yeah. All right. Is
The
there
plane
anywhere?
ride from hell is pretty good too.
Oh, I watched that. Hearing Terry Reynolds talk about that was interesting too.
Yeah.
So, is there anywhere our fans could find you on the internet?
Yes, please. I am on Instagram as the Colby Max, as is said right there. Or
Right. That I always have that problem.
sorry, right there,
Yeet. Yeah. Yeet.
right there. And both Instagram and Twitter, I am the Colby Max, and then Facebook, I'm just Colby Max.
Okay. Is there any shows that they could find you on upcoming?
I will be wrestling for in Arlington, Ohio this Saturday. Sunday, I'm wrestling for PWL. I just won my title back this past the Sunday of Halloween, and I will be defending it for the first time. And then I will be at BGW Battleground Wrestling in the first ever. I'm pretty sure what is the first women's casket match in West Virginia. And then December, I will be in North Carolina, then Tennessee, and then I'm not too sure what's for January yet.
By chance, do you have your belt around you, or is it in a bag downstairs?
I have it in the other room if you want me to go get it real quick.
Sure.
All right, I'll be back in a second. Don't talk crap about me while I'm gone.
Right.
We don't talk about our guests. We love our guests, right, Kiku?
Mm-hmm.
So, is there any shows we could talk about before the guest comes back?
I mean, I don't know, Joe. Do you have any other shows or real quick or?
I think there's a upcoming VPW show coming up this Saturday. Oh, here comes the baby.
All right, well, while we were talking about it, I decided to bring Finn while I was at it.
Of course, it's always time for the Finn. Oh,
I was gonna marry him, but you know what? It's fine.
Our friend, Balor Club guy really loves Finn Balor.
there's a guy that we're best friends with as a podcaster. You would probably become best buddies with him. He's like, that's his name on his
Balor Club
podcast
guy.
name is Balor Club Guy.
Mm-hmm. I was supposed to marry Finn Balor, but he didn't wait for me, unfortunately.
There's always room for Jello. He could always say, "I love you."
Yeah, I'm joking. He's adorable with his current wife, and I'm happy with my Tyler Osborne, my lovely Thunderbird. And here it is.
That's beautiful. That's a nice belt. Wow.
Yes, it is, and it's heavy.
They must have paid a pretty penny for that belt.
Yeah, some promotions.
Oh, yes.
Some promotions actually don't let the champions keep their belts. They say,
I know.
Nope, it's just
for
a prop.
the BGW title, they had a case when I still had it. I kept it in a briefcase.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, and for this, I have like a covering for it so it doesn't get scratched up.
That's like the 90s when you buy a title at the WWE New York restaurant and you have to put it in the bag. I had something like that for the old WWF Winged Eagle title, and I lost the bag. And my dad's like, "Who do you keep the belt in?" In my room. It just sits in my room. Just sits in my room now, just chilling on the chair.
I mean, that's what my title does. Well, it's not a PWL.
Do you ever do like I do? I have the WWF Winged Eagle title, and when I'm talking to Geek on the phone, I literally just sit there with it on my shoulder like it's a baby. I'm just like, what?
I did when I was younger, because when I was like 9 or 10, my brothers got me the old IC title belt.
Yeah.
And I would have it. I'd just wear it around the house.
I'd be talking to Geek on the phone. I walk in the bathroom, like, Geek, you realize what's on my shoulder? He's like, no, what's on your shoulder? I'm like, the old Winged Eagle title. He's like, you really have to take the belt every time we're on the phone? I'm like, yeah, I just feel so important now. Yep. Got my old school belt. Yep. No one's going to beat me for this belt unless they try to come in my room. Not going to happen. No.
That's one of the perks of having your boyfriend as a wrestler.
Yep. Protection. 24-hour protection now.
Well, on top of that, I have a bunch of wrestling friends who are 2 to 3 times my size.
Yeah. So do you have any stories from the ring?
Well, what kind of stories?
Like from the road, from like funny stories, anything like that?
Yeah, I do. I have plenty. There was the time I got to be in a battle royal in Gilbert, West Virginia. This was back in November. And so I was just kind of like last minute added into a battle royal. And so then so whenever we were kind of like discussing stuff for the match, they said, okay, well, you're the only girl in this match, so we need to get a big spot in there for you. And I'm like, they're like, what's a quick and easy move you can do? And I said, well, I can just do a stunner. And so what turned into only like 3 or 4 people taking it turned into everybody taking it.
Oh, geez.
The video, it's on my Instagram. You kind of, and like I posted it for 316 day.
Oh,
That's kind of like a PWG move right there. When Randy Orton was so against everyone doing the super kick, so instead of everyone doing the super kick, okay, how could we piss Randy Orton off today? How about we have an RKO party? And everyone just started RKOing each other. You just have to look it up. YouTube RKO party. It's actually pretty
I'll look
funny.
it up. It sounds like something me and my boyfriend should watch tomorrow. He's coming over tomorrow, and we always watch stupid YouTube videos.
It is on YouTube, though. It's just look up. It's I think PWG RKO party. I think it's Adam
Okay.
Cole, the Bucks. Who's in it? Ricochet. I think Osprey. All those guys. So I think Seidel.
Something that they made back in like 2013.
Yeah, probably.
It's probably, yeah.
I'm trying to think. Oh, another scary story was actually probably the scariest moment in the ring. It was my third match. It was that tag match that I was talking about earlier. And it was outside in a parking lot. So there was a suicide dive spot where I was supposed to go and like go on all 3 of them, I'm pretty sure. I can't fully remember. But I guess the ropes were higher and I jumped quicker or faster or higher or something. And I scorpioned myself, or I was about to. But as I was going down to the concrete, I did this. I don't know what made me think to do that at the last second. But I did that, and somehow nothing was broken. I was fine. Granted, I felt every air bubble in my back and my spine pop. But hey, it's the best back crack I've ever gotten.
Oh, guys.
Let me see. I have the video. I don't know if I have the video right here. Hopefully, it won't end up on Botchamania, but it's a good
we
video.
won't load anything. If you send us a video, if you don't want us to post it, you just want to show us, we'll show it. You know what I mean? Like
right here. I don't know if you can see. Wait here, let me.
That's when you scorpion? Oh no.
So wait, you made it to Botchamania?
No, fortunately. I don't know if you saw that or not. It's just I said whoop.
Did you hear the pop when you fell?
You probably did. I don't know. I was just like so terrified in the moment because I was about to take a Lita bump. And so like I think I was more focused on how am I not gonna die doing this to do that. So whenever the second I hit the ground, I flipped myself over. And in that video you can see me just sitting there shaking for a split second and like kind of forgetting that I'm in a match and like I'm in the middle of something, and it terrified my parents because I was 17 at the time.
That's one of the questions I forgot to ask you before. Like my last question for you is what do your parents think about you being a wrestler?
I mean, they know I'm happy doing it, and I mean, I obviously won't tell you my whole life story. I mean, unless you ask questions about it. But like, it's just, it makes me happy. It's my life, really. So, I mean, I could be out doing drugs or getting in jail, but instead I'm gonna work out. I'm gonna eat healthy. I'm gonna.
You're doing what you love. Your favorite thing in the whole world, wrestling. Like we love wrestling.
That's like the new thing of wrestling today. Wrestlers used to do bad things back in the day.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Trust me, I've told.
It's like all the wrestlers want to do is all they want to do now is play video games and go home and say, "Okay, I'm going to go play Final Fantasy VII."
Go eat pizza and drink and hang out and drink a big thing of Coca-Cola and just like chill out. Back in the day, let's do a line of Coke. Like, What?
I got the privilege to sit down. Me after a show that Chase Stevens was on. Me and my boyfriend Tyler, we went to Buffalo Wild Wings because it was the only thing open, and Chase Stevens and Eric Darkstorm just happened to be there too, and they invited us to sit with them, and we got a ton of stories, and because Chase Stevens has been around since like 2001, 2002, and hearing some stories that he told, it was like it's hard to believe that this kind of stuff went on, and honestly, unfortunately, in some places, it probably still does go on.
Yeah.
And hearing him talk about stories of Tracy Smothers and the one time he like pulled a guy's eyeball out. That was an interesting story.
Oh, geez. Like, that's crazy.
I would have loved to meet Tracy Smothers.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have no other questions for the Killjoy.
But you've been awesome though for this past hour.
Thanks. I mean,
thank you so much.
I mean, if you want to, you can ask about personal life. I mean, Colby outside the ring.
Yeah.
Well, we figure we save that for that stuff for the next time when you come back.
All right.
We'll try to see if we can get you in December. You can come
Definitely. I'd love to come back. I had a blast.
Yeah, it's so much fun. Please tell the male and female wrestlers in OVW.
Definitely.
We'd love to have more OVW people on Dudes Room.
So sorry about the delay, by the way.
Oh, it's fine.
Yeah, I felt bad because I was trying to help you out because of the delay. So that's why I was like, let me just talk so it doesn't mess up the crowd. Thank you very much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you all for having me. This is awesome. I can't wait to come back.
See you in December.
Definitely.
See ya.
Yeah. That was fun, Joe.
Thank you very much to Killjoy, Kobe, and you could. You have any announcements before we go, Geek?
Yeah, you could always donate to us at http://streamlabs.com/dudes@ringside. http://streamlabs.com/dudes@ringside. Joe, take it away.
We will see you tomorrow for the Queen of Crows. Good night, everybody.